Alrighty, so tonight's episode of Fox's Scream Queens was good. It was even better than last week's episode, in my opinion. Now, as far as who the killer or killers are, I have no idea, but I know there's more than one person because one person can't just go from whining and dining Zayday one day to trying to kill her the next day. Yeah, I know what you guys are thinking. Well, he's probably mad at her, but that person in episode 5 seemed like they had strong feelings for her. This killer in episode 6 wanted to take her head pretty much. And if it wasn't for Chanel number 1, Zayday would be walking around like the headless horseman pretty much. And honestly, I do believe Earl Grey is one of those killers. Throughout this entire episode, I was wondering, where's Denise? Where's Grace's father? Where's the dean? Where is Pete? Where is Gigi? Like, why were so many characters, like, completely missing? On top of the fact of who locked the house from the inside. If none of the girls did that, then the killer obviously did it and then disappeared. I also believe that there is more than one killer because there was a killer outside who killed the poor armless dude. I mean, his death was just hilarious. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have laughed. But it's just like common sense would tell everybody to send him up first. Then everybody else could come running after him. But it was just like every man for himself. They let him go. And then all of a sudden you see the killer that was down in the cellar with Sam. And then the killer that was down all the way in the hidden tunnels. And then the killer that was basically upstairs. So there has to be more than one killer. And with that said also, this person had to know how to get in and out of the house. And the dean probably knows how to get in, but who else knows? Because when Chanel and Zayday escaped, they escaped out of like what looked like a fake storm drain or something, which means the killer or killers entered the house through that, and that's how they've been entering the house quite a few times. It's pretty telling how Chanel, we learned that she voted for Zayday to become the president. And here I was thinking she was doing a good thing, but I should have known because obviously she wanted Zayday to be the target rather than her being the target. Not that Zayday being president was going to change anything as far as this killer or killer's vendetta, but obviously Chanel is not thinking that clearly because she's so obsessed with Chad, who is just not that into her, but he likes her money. And I'm sure he'll sleep with her once or twice, but I don't see him as a monogamous person. And Chad made it clear that he would not have the same fun with other people that he did with Chanel. So that whole monogamy thing went right out the window. Also, those deaths in this episode, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have laughed. I mean, from the armless dude to poor Roger, whose face was all like shot up with the nail gun, which gave me like this weird Final Destination type feels. And then after seeing him with all the nails in his face, the Hellraiser thing as well. Speaking of Roger's death, it was pretty telling how the killer shot all those nails at him, but never came after Chanel number 5. All she did was shrink down to the floor, and when the killer ran out of nails, they're like, and just left the room. And it was also pretty telling with Sam's killer that Sam's killer was pretty much down there, and Sam knew who this person was. Of course they weren't going to show us that, obviously. They can't show us because then they'll ruin the episode for us, or ruin the season. But I'm sure that that particular person is somebody who's going to surprise us. And, of course, Armless Dude's death was just hilarious. As far as Hester goes, Hester is a mess, and Chanel better watch out for Hester. Hester is giving me this whole single white female. If you saw that movie, you know what I'm talking about. She's giving me that type of, like, feel from her. Like, she's going to do anything she can to be close to Chanel. Then she wants to be Chanel. And it's also pretty telling that Hester accused Sam of being the killer, despite the fact that Hester is pretty creepy. She knows a lot about death, It seems like she knows a lot about dead bodies. So one would think that she was the killer, on top of the fact that she is completely after Chad Radwell. And he's basically shown us that he's not into her, but she's not going to stop until she gets what she wants. And the last thing that I wanted to talk about as far as this review goes is that the Dickie Dollar Scholars came over to crash the slumber party that Zayday was throwing, right? But the only one to mention anything about the Red Devils was Roger. The other guys really didn't talk about it or mention it or anything. And in particular, Earl Grey. He seemed to stay quiet through this entire ordeal. And as far as next week's episode, I feel like Jennifer might just bite the dust. But then again, it could possibly be one of the Chanels or Hester. At this point, everybody is fair game. I'm hoping it's not Zayday. And God knows who the killer is, but I guess we'll have to wait until next week because I can't wait to see who's going to bite the dust. I feel like it's going to be a secondary character, like maybe Jennifer, the Candle Girl, but it could also be someone like Chanel number 3 or Hester, or Pete could come up dying, or Grace could die, or I mean, at this point, it's fair game for everybody as far as this show goes. I don't even know who could possibly get killed. God knows who the killer is, but what I can say about this show is that we're going to find out soon, and it is going to surprise us. I mean, we'll probably figure out that this one or that one is the killer, but the other ones are just going to come out of left field, and we're just going to be like, wait a minute. But definitely leave me some comments. Let me know what you thought of this episode, what you're thinking of the season so far, and who you believe is the killer or who are the killers. Also, hit me up on Twitter and Google Plus at Sage Valentine. Rate this video and hit that subscribe button. Subscribe to my brand of crazy. And as I said, I do believe Earl Grey is the killer, but then again, another killer could be the Dean or Denise or Gigi, because she is the ringleader, but that doesn't mean that she doesn't divulge in a little murder herself. Or it could be Hester, or it could be somebody that we aren't even thinking of at this point. Either way, I can't wait to find out. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching my reviews, and check out my other reviews in the links below. I love you guys. Take care. Bye, guys. Bye.